So then you were the second round pick with the Giants. When the Giants drafted you, did they talk about at all having you pitch? I know you were the closer at San Diego State. Were you ever considered a two-way, or was it always just pure infield?
I think it was always pure infield. I think the pitching thing was just something that was gonna just be in my back pocket just in case I needed it down the line. But yeah, I mean, I still kind of mess around with it a little bit. I'll every now and then when I'm playing catch, I'll make sure I can still move the ball and whatever.
Yeah, I was reading about some of the when you're playing catch with some of the guys, you throw them a splitter or throw them a different ball, and they're kind of like, "What the heck?"
Yeah, I just let them know that I still got it.
Yeah, there you go.
Casey, when I was when I was spending time down in Southern California, I had a chance to interview Tony Gwynn. Did you get a chance to spend some time? Was Tony there when you were there, or did you guys cross paths?
No, I never got to meet him. Yeah, he wasn't there when I got on the campus.
He was a great two-way player for San Diego State. Not only was he a great baseball player, he was a great basketball player as well. So I got to imagine you grew up a Padre fan, though.
Yeah.
Who was your guy as a little kid?
For me, there was a couple. It was, Longoria was one of them. Then as I got older, it was Arenado, and I've always always loved watching Crop play. So probably those were a couple good ones, and
cool.
Derek Jeter too.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's interesting because you mentioned Craw and Arenado. Craw compared you to Arenado. He said that's about the closest comparison he could think of as someone who with the quick hands and being able to grab the ball and be already in position to throw the ball to first. I mean, I was reading some stuff about that. You felt like originally you didn't feel like you were that great of a fielder. What did you have to do? You just like take ground balls all day long? I mean, how did you improve that craft, that part of your game?
I think so. Once I got to college is when it started to get better. I think as the years went on, and I just continued to work at it is when things started to get better. Then I went to the summer ball at the Cape Cod, and that's when I kind of felt like there was a little bit of a change, and it kind of felt a lot. I felt like a lot more comfortable, and like it felt really good. Than my first year, during I think it was during his 2020 instructs is when Woody, one of our coaches, he was working with me, and we just kind of just kept at it, and then it just kind of try to get as good as I can at it.
You played in that Cape Cod League and were an all-star down there on the Cape, and won the MVP of the playoff, I believe, down there on the Cape. And it's funny, Casey, because the Giants, either during the Sabian regime and guys like Kyle Haynes were there with Brian, and they're still here with Farhan. The Giants always valued the Cape and guys that, and for people don't know, that Cape Cod League is a wooden bat league. So and obviously the pros is about hitting with the wooden bat. What was your experience like down there? And were you aware that the Giants, obviously took a lot of interest, probably partially at least due to the fact that you had success in that Cape Cod League?
Yeah, I mean that league was, it's awesome. There's a lot of it's a very historic league, and a lot of players that come through there, and I mean I was really excited when I got the opportunity to go down there, and I got the opportunity to pitch there too, so that was even cooler. So it was really cool to kind of go out there and do both. But yeah, I didn't really know kind of what the plan was after that. Yeah, obviously I wanted to get drafted, but then COVID hit, so no one really kind of knew what was the next step, and then they had that 5-round draft, and then I ended up getting selected.
Hey, Casey, you're talking about some of the coaches that were helping you, transition into to the infield. Did Wotus help you at all in doing some infield work? I know he wasn't technically with the team. I mean, he is as a special advisor, but he finished after the 2021 season. So I was just wondering, did he have any influence on you in helping your infield play?
Yeah, definitely towards recently, like when I started kind of learning short and learning second is when I was able to work with Wotus too. So that's I think Wotus really helped me a lot, because this was the first year I've ever played second base.
Crazy.
And yeah, so I played a couple games at at second in AAA, then boom, the next thing you know, I was in the big leagues, and I was playing, all three positions, and two of them I wasn't, really that comfortable with, but I was just trying to do the best I could.
Real quick, to follow up on that, can you kind of explain to the chat, how is it difficult to say go from third base or shortstop to second base? Is that a big jump to learn, or is it kind of come natural to you, or is it dependent maybe on the player?
I mean, it might be just depending on the player, but for me, in my personal experience, it was definitely different. And I think each position had its different difficulties as well. I mean, third, the ball comes at you so much harder. I mean, you kind of have a little bit less time to react, and then short is everything's so quick paced, and there's a lot more you got to cover, and then second's a little slower. And there's a lot of there's just all the different moving pieces that kind of go into it.
I was talking to Will Clark on the radio last summer. I guess it was maybe 2 years ago, and I was asking him because he was a roving minor league instructor for the Giants, and Will's very passionate and total straight shooter, and I love talking to him. And I said, "Hey, Will, I know you're looking at all these young players in the Giants system. Do any stand out to you?" And he named you and Vaughn Brown that really stood out. Will is such a great, awesome hitter, such a student of hitting. Have you had a chance to – I know he was a Giant minor league instructor, but I know he went from kind of level to level. Have you had much time to talk ball with him or talk hitting with Will? Because he's just a fountain of information.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think I met him in 2020, so he's always same with Pat Burrell. So they've always they're always there's someone that I've kind of come up with, and they've helped me, and just kind of given me pointers, and they're always kind of there for me. And but yeah, they've been really huge for me. They've definitely helped kind of help me with my hitting as well as other aspects of the game.
And here's another question I want to kind of ask you here. Growing up, one thing I love about baseball, it fosters relationships. And relationships could be, between, son and father, brothers, you name it. It can affect different types of relationships. When you were coming up as a kid, who was that one person that kind of, motivated you to keep going after baseball?
Yeah, it was definitely my parents. I feel like for me, it's not just one person that's kind of helped me. It's always been, my parents, and then my friends, my coaches. It's been everyone that's just really stuck by me and kind of just really had their hand in helping me to kind of just become the greatest that I can become.
That's awesome. So you had a great support network.
100%, yeah.
Awesome.
It's.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, I was just going to say that this year was such a unique year because I'm sure your dream has been to play in the bigs. And it's okay, you get to live your dream, but you're a third baseman, by trade. And the Giants, because of need, had more of a need for you at shortstop. And I'm just kind of wondering, Casey, was the offensive part of the game, you think, more challenging this year because you had to play a position that is incredibly taxing and one that you just don't have as many reps at? Do you think that if you came up and you just played your customary third, do you think that would have impacted your bat at all?
I mean, I don't know. I have no idea, but I mean, definitely, it was definitely, tough to kind of maneuver between those three, and especially to do it as a rookie. So I think kind of just going into the next year and just kind of just having that experience, I think things will kind of will turn around and be a lot better. Not just from the defensive side, but as well as the offensive side. So I think for me, it just kind of comes down to just trusting my bat. And I feel like last year, I just tried to do a little too much. There was times where I was making hard outs, and I just felt so lost, and I was just kind of trying to do a little too much, and then that's when it kind of just felt like it was just maybe snowballing a little bit.
Well, you definitely ended the season on a high note, hitting 2 out.
Oh yeah,
that had to feel good. While going into the offseason, right, hitting 2 home runs against the Dodgers.
Yeah, that definitely felt good just to kind of end it on that, and just to kind of just put my sights toward next year.
Yeah.
What do you think about a beloved Giant in Matt Williams come into the organization, going to be at the third base coach. He's a third baseman that's beloved here in San Francisco. You looking forward to working with him?
Oh yeah, 100%. I haven't gotten the opportunity to talk to him yet, but yeah, I really look forward to meeting him and just to take anything I can from him because he's a legend. So I'm all ears.
He played
Giants got some
short. He
awesome
played
players.
third. He
Yeah.
played both. He played both, just like you.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of talk right now that the Giants may be a player for Chapman, Matt Chapman, who's maybe one of the greatest defensive third basemen I've ever seen. I mean, he's right there with Matt Williams, Mike Schmitt. I mean, if you old school guys would maybe say Brooks Robinson, but I mean, he's in that kind of category. How does that, when you hear that stuff, how do you feel? I mean, you're not, obviously this directly impacts your future, but you're not in a position to call up the organization and be like, hey, I'm here at third. You don't need Matt Chapman. But I mean, how do you feel about seeing a player like that who plays your position potentially in the mix for your team?
Yeah, for me, I don't really try to think about it. Him being on the team just makes the team even better. And for me, I play three different positions, so it just kind of comes down to just control you can control. And we'd all love to have him on the team. So he'd make the team that much better. So it'd be really cool.
Yeah,
that's a good answer. See, that's a good answer.
Good answer. Good answer. Yeah,
good answer.
Hey, a lot of people, who sometimes like to join our show. We have them on, but we can't have, we can't make it Hollywood Squares have 9 people in here. This is a question from one of our guys, Sean Proctor. He wanted to know. We always hear this. He typed it out to me. Sent to me. We always hear about guys, how excited guys are to make the show. But he was wondering how different the planes, hotels, buses are in the bigs versus the minors. Is there a huge difference in accommodations between, say, single A and triple A? Is the charter plane awesome? Well, I mean, you kind of went up and down a little bit last year. I mean, what's the difference like?
Oh man, it's everything you can think of. It's super sick. This year,
Nice.
yeah, that's the only way to describe it. It was super cool. This year on the planes, I would always sit next to JD, so I'd always get to bother him.
Great guy, JD Davis.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. So I always sat next to JD. But yeah, the hotels are super sick. It's all just like, it's all kind of just like everything you can think of. So it's awesome.
I was always
you're getting Chick-fil-A on the planes and stuff.
Nice.
Oh.
On the planes, Chick-fil-A.
Are you a spicy
It's-
chicken
it's-
sandwich or a regular chicken sandwich guy?
I actually like both. It
Okay.
just kind of depends on what kind of day you got on. But we obviously don't get them on Sundays because
There is no
everyone knows
Chick-fil-A.
they're
Yeah.
closed on Sundays.
Now, what do you